The Garden Goombas. What is up?
How's it
Can
going? Great to have us back on the Popko show. Thrilled to be back. I think it's about 2 years since we've been on.
and you guys didn't disappoint. You brought the sunglasses. I was worried. I'm like, this is probably the time that you're gonna not wear sunglasses, and I'm gonna look foolish.
Well, Doc needs them because of his ugly mug, so he's got to wear them regardless. But you and I, we wear them for social reasons.
All right, you want to know why I'm wearing them? Because it's 2022 and the Goombas got their first official sponsor.
Oh, the Goombas are
Fuzzy.
sponsored.
Cuzzy, do we share with everyone?
Well,
Angle Eyewear. See and be seen.
My boys, Tommy and Renee, right?
Got it. And what most people don't realize is Doc was wearing the aviators way before Tom Cruise had this movie thing out that just came out a couple months ago.
So back in like the early '80s, you were wearing the aviators.
Absolutely.
So Tom Cruise is copying off you
And Tom Engel.
and Tom Engel.
well,
Tom
Doc,
Engel and Renee are good people.
Yes, they are.
Popko, who are you sponsored by right now?
Oh, I got Keller's Garden Center.
Garden.
Yeah, how
I
about it?
like that.
I got it just for you guys.
See what you're doing.
No, Brian, and his wife, family-owned business, great people. Also, you got to support local, right?
No doubt.
I'm also sponsored by Ionic Development. They do a lot of video work and streaming and things like that. And last but not least, the V Spot Bar in Scranton, which sponsors the Take a Shot segment that we'll do, where the fans of the Goombas and fans of the show, ask some questions. They took a shot and asked some questions, and we're gonna ask them to you guys a little bit later on. But yeah, Garden Goombas. It's been 2 years since we last sat down. I've been particularly excited about this. I've been texting Joe back and forth. Trying to organize this, and you guys have some stuff coming up that's timely, and we'll talk about that as well. But I mean, it's been 2 years, and a lot has happened, right? I mean, a worldwide pandemic. I mean, but that, I mean, as bad as the pandemic is, I feel like it got people out of their homes and in their yards. So that was good for the garden culture, right? But
So for sure. 2020, when the pandemic hit, was a fantastic year to garden. Part of it, I said, because we weren't stuck at home. So every day we were tending to it, making sure everything was right. But the weather was great. So it was a shame we couldn't get out and do our thing, get together. Cuzzy and I tried to do a couple Zoom videos together, but it just wasn't the same, right, Joe?
No, I agree. And since the last time we probably met up with you, Doc and I took on a couple community projects. Right now we're on our community garden up in Dallas. Doc knows all the names, so why don't you share with them what we got going on this summer and the now?
yeah, let me set that up for you guys. And I'm not trying to take over by any means, but you guys were doing the videos, you were kind of hopping around some local, friends gardens and some local businesses as well. But you guys really took it to the next level. And now you are I think, and you can explain more, but taking it to the next level where you're really helping people develop gardens that are feeding communities.
Yeah, I agree. Because for people maybe that didn't catch the first one, why don't you tell them the whole shtick with what the Garden Goombas are, what we did the first year or so, what we got into last year, and then I'll take over the current stuff.
Well, the Garden Goombas, we look at gardening as art. So we want to go in people's backyards, show off what they do, what makes their yard unique or their garden unique, and just provide as many tips as we can to fellow gardeners. Now, last year we had the opportunity to work with the city of Wilkes-Barre, and we took advantage of that, and we restored a garden for them along with King's College, and we actually raised 512 pounds of food. But since then, Doc actually sold his house in Harding, and I moved out of 44 and moved to Dallas. So we're in different locations, and we were looking for something, closer to where one of us was going to be living, whether that was Pittston or Dallas. And this year's project is up at Misericordia. Did the same thing. We went in there, we put a new fence, we put new beds, and I'll let Doc take it from here.
Yeah, I mean, working with Wilkes-Barre was great. Everything worked out well. We didn't want to be pigeoned into one project because, again, our big thing is getting to other people's gardens, getting around, seeing what they do that's unique, and really making them the star of our show. But we did love helping the community. We were giving food away to food shelters and soup kitchens, things like that. So because he got his master's at Misericordia, and now that he lives near the school, they reached out to them because you may not even be aware of it. But there's a Rasmussen House, which is on the corner of Lake Street. And what that is the Burger Women's with Children program. So in that Rasmussen House, there are single moms living with their kids. And the whole purpose of the Burger Women's with Children program is to empower them to help these economically disadvantaged single mothers, provide them the opportunity to go out and complete a college degree. So that Rasmussen House houses all the single moms and their kids, and they had a little garden for them because they're trying to help them be self-sufficient. And it didn't go that well as of the last year or two. So they reached out to Fuzzy and they said, would you guys be interested in helping out these single women, helping out the kids, and kind of getting the garden off the ground?
And Doc, how many, there's only what, like, that's one of 8?
From what I understand, Sandy and Catherine up at Misericordia University were the ones that reached out, and they're our partners in this thing. I believe there's only 8 of these Burger Women's with Children programs in the entire country. And we have one right here in Dallas at Misericordia University.
That's great. I mean, how important was it for you guys to kind of be involved with that?
I think it was huge because last year, we grew so much food that we were actually showing up to food banks, one in Kingston and then a soup kitchen with a church. And we were dropping off significant pounds of food. We even gave the one security guy a kohlrabi because he was eyeing it up for a couple of weeks. So on the second or third week, we brought him a little bag for himself because he ate them with salt. So the impact of it was significant last year. There was a lot of people coming through those food lines, and they said they were at least triple the amount of people they normally get. And I think they were really like 10 times the amount of people they normally got. So that was the significance. We were showing up with 20, 30 pounds of food at a clip. The one time, I think we had 60 or 70 a few times. And that made it like you're showing up with a significant amount of food to donate. You don't want to stop that, right? So like for us, we don't want to stop our momentum. But the one thing we also realize is we can't get away from our identity. Our identity is we're looking for gardens. We want to keep it that simple, right? Where you're the star of the show, we're going to come check you out. And last year, we saw a big focus of how much a community garden can take up in time. So we had to be very aware of that this year, that, the community garden and our videos, we're going to have to segment some things and put more work in because of the challenge of running both. The community garden's got to be watered every day. It's got to be tended to. So it's not like you could just let it be. And if you wonder why a lot of them aren't successful, I would say everybody could be their planting day, but then to actually have someone do the follow-up is usually where community gardens fail in our experience. And that's what makes us unique is we're going to be the guys that go there and water it or pick the weeds or stake the tomatoes, make sure everything's moving smooth throughout the summer.
Where do you find the time to do this?
That's a great question because neither one of us are retired.
Right.
I do have Wednesdays off, and Cuzzy knows that. So that was our day. Today we were very busy. We actually did 2 different shoots today, and then we had the podcast tonight. But yeah, I mean, it's great. And we love helping out in the city. It takes up a lot of time. So we still want to mix in our deal with visiting the gardens. And I think that's marrying up with Misericordia University really works out well because we're going to help the mothers and the kids learn to tend to take care of the garden as well. You know, we can't be there every day, but we're setting it up and we're kind of supervising the project.
Right. And it's important. Obviously, you know, like you said, you can't just plant it, let it go. It takes a daily process. Why did you guys start doing this?
I
Well,
think things just snowballed. You know, years ago, I went and videoed Doc's garden and we've developed a connection. And he started looking for gardens that we could go video. And I was looking for more gardens. And not that we were ever serious, but it forced both of us to realize we have some type of art and some type of platform that we create together. And it's, you know, it's magical for us, whether one person watches or 10,000 people watch. You know, we're able to go in someplace right now, develop a story out of nothing, shoot it usually in one take. If we do 2 takes in a scene, I'd be shocked. Usually we're one takers.
Professionals.
And we're out of there in usually a half hour. So it's, you know, we got this thing down to science or a dance for us where we know what we're looking for. When we see something unique that stands out, that's what we're going to focus on. But from our relationship, I would say we're still growing. You know, the Doc and Cuz, where we want to take this, you know, we're just at the tip of the iceberg for where we see ourselves, you know, 3 to 5 years from now.
and you know, a lot of times the people that watched it said, "Oh my God, I was cracking up watching it." But yet I really learned something at the end. And that was it. Like when we got together the first time, I thought he was joking. So as he was interviewing me, I was just shooting from the hip saying whatever. And at the end, he's like, you know, I don't know. I think we have something here. So we start calling friends and cousins that have gardens and we just pop in and do the thing. So, I mean, it's entertaining and educational. But I think the key behind it all is, you know, you need to have a passion about something, whether you collect stamps or you read or you do something like this. And I mean, we both have full-time jobs. We both have families. We have a lot of things that we're responsible for, but we both enjoy gardening. And then when we got together, it just took it up to another level.
Yeah, and what I meant too is why you started doing this. Like, why did you start doing like helping people? Like, why was that important to you guys?
Well, I mean, we were raised right, number one. We have Italian mothers, so of course we're here to help people. And again, in our professions, we're both helpers. I'm a chiropractor. He's doing financial things, so he's helping you out financially. I'm trying to help you out with your health. And it just, again, I mean, we're the type of guys that would help some lady walk across the street if it was crowded. I mean, that's just how we were raised. And by doing our passion, you know, yes, we could have, here's my tomatoes, here's this and that, but if you can do that, we saw it, especially in the pandemic, a lot of work. I mean, there were people coming to food banks that had never thought in their life they would ever stand in a line because they needed food. And the fact that we're actually able to contribute to some people's needs was just, I mean, it's amazing. It feels great.
Yeah, I think the pandemic really taught us, hopefully at least, that they taught us like how fragile life can be, and you know, the things that we have can be taken from us like just like that, you know, snap of a finger. And I myself, like, and I failed to do anything. I text Cuz now and then, and I say I'm putting out the bat signal, and by the bat signal I mean the Goomba, the Garden Goombas. I need help with my garden. You guys were supposed to stop by like a year or so ago, and I'm still here waiting.
Well,
I'm in trouble.
We were gonna, but I kept looking at the ticker. The numbers were going up, the COVID cases, so we didn't want to come visit you yet.
Yeah, I got you.
And he's having a baby right now. He's got to be safe. He's got to be safe over there, Doc.
Yeah, I'm thinking
He's
probably
probably another year away from us, to be honest.
I would say a good year or two, and then we're there. We are there for sure.
It's so,
And John, you could have a baby at any time right now, right?
it could happen tonight. I don't even know.
How crazy.
Yeah.
We'll show up tomorrow then.
Yeah, you'll be here tomorrow. I'll leave the door open for you. You guys can come in the AC when you're done in the heat. But yeah, my thing is, I mean, it was a mess when I got here, and that was 2 years ago. It's overgrown. I think there's a tree in there somewhere. I don't even know
Oh.
where to start.
It's funny you bring that up too, because we've had a lot of people reach out to us on social media. Obviously, we have a Facebook page, Instagram, but we have Twitter, and what else do we have? Is there another one I'm missing out there?
We got the website, even though it's not set up.
Right.
But the one thing we're not doing is coming to your house and planting your garden. Quit
Well-
hitting us up thinking we're gonna do your garden for free.
That's exactly what they,
No, I'm not saying that.
no, I'm not even talking about,
No.
it's just, we're not into, oh, look, here's an empty yard, build me a garden.
Gotcha.
We're not there
You're
yet.
You're gonna
But
help
we-
guide.
We just had a guy hit us up this week, a real jamutz. And a real Babarutsky. He's been trying to get on the show for 3 years. And, we would put his grandfather on, but he's texting us, he's going to get buckets and he wants us to dump the soil and plant the plants. It's like, Mingia, buddy.
Yeah.
We're doing this for free here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I just need you to point me in the right direction, because I don't know where to start.
We could point.
we
Yeah.
can,
Maybe
we can
it's-
give you some tips. We make exceptions.
All right.
Yeah,
I just need
you
some
know.
tips.
But with the new child coming, I think we do have to play it safe for a minimum of 2 years before.
I would think, yeah, they gotta be out of diapers before we
Yeah.
come up with the garden.
All right.
That's one of our rules.
Damn kids. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm impressed with Joe. Not that I'm not with you, Frank, but or should I call you Cuzzy and Doc?
I've been called a lot of things.
But I mean, Joe, you got 2 kids. One's pretty fresh. Your full-time job. I don't like the fact that you moved to Dallas. And you're pounding your chest over Dallas and what is it, Dallas Mountaineers and shit like that. I'm a Lehman boy myself.
Listen,
Well,
I'm a West Sider my whole life, and now I'm over in Pittston. I didn't even want to put that out there, but
Not a big fan of those Dallas folk.
We win championships out here. What
Oh,
do you
here
want
we
me to
go.
tell you?
All
I
right.
wanted to come back to Titletown, where I won a couple as a child and has an adult coach.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you coach, you're a full-time job, full-time dad. Jeez, I don't know where you guys find the time.
Well, you know what? When you're an insurance man and you're selling life insurance or you're rolling over someone's 401k as they leave a job, you're developing a relationship with people. So, a lot of my day is just talking to people or talking to friends and them saying, hey, so-and-so left their job or so-and-so needs life insurance. So it's really like being Dog the Bounty Hunter, right? Like my schedule is a schedule where it's on, but it's always rescheduling the schedule. So, it's a schedule of rescheduling. And somewhere in that, I try to find time to meet up with Doc. So, because of what I do, and what he does as a doctor, we're able to take some time Wednesday out of our day and kind of decompress in the middle of the week. And then we usually meet up Saturdays and we'll do filming on Saturdays as well.
But it's funny because I think we need a secretary because we think we know each other's schedule. And then he's like, Saturday, we have 2 shoots, one in the morning, then we're going up there. I'm like, and I'm out of town. You said we're good Saturday. I said this Saturday. He goes, no, next Saturday. So we got to
It
go
does
through our
get
text
hectic.
every once.
Well, that, and he's got a calendar that's full he doesn't know about. The wife has that going for him.
there's
Well, I'll
the
tell you
honey
what,
to-do list.
and obviously Popko is about to be here. I'm about 90 days into my second child. So, the delusion of not sleeping now for 90 days is set in instead of like 1 week. And I'm just trying to get through it right now. The sleep struggle is a real thing, as we all know.
When you have old kids,
And
you guys
obviously,
start too late.
Popko is about to experience that for himself. So
We did start too late. Joe, I don't know what we did. Like, what? I mean,
I'm
Yeah.
going to be 60 years old at high school graduation. So it is what
same.
it is.
Same.
It is
Hey,
what it is.
at least you'll get handicap parking.
I'll get handicap parking, and you know what? It should be a good time. The one thing I could say about being an old dad compared to a young dad is I don't think I would have appreciated it the same way I do as a 40-year-old and understanding the gift of time and how we're only given so much and it's precious. I think that makes you look at your kids, being an older dad, and you experience things where it impacts you in a way where you understand time a little bit. And I wouldn't take that away for anything. I think having children later in life for me was definitely a blessing, and just understanding the path of time. I think I value the fact that I have little children, and it's only going to last for so long, and they're going to grow up one day, and these are going to be my best memories of my life. Me and John right now are living in our now, as they say.
Which is cool, but let me tell you something else. Once your kids get of age, then you meet in Miami for a Dolphins game, and that's kind of cooler than hanging out in a sandbox. Trust me.
Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons. I wanted to get Doc's opinion on that. I mean, I don't know when you had children, but obviously your children are grown now, and you're able to kind of relax a bit, right?
Yeah. But I was 30. It's not like I was 18 when I had kids. I'm just older than I look. That's the other thing. If I was super active in high school, Fuzzy could technically be my kid. So our age difference is funny.
If you took those sunglasses off, you probably look like your age, right?
I have another pair underneath these. It's whatever. You make it happy wherever you are in your life. But like I said, no, I wasn't 20 or anything.
Right.
But I just look at my friends that have young kids now, and it's just so funny because I'm really free now. I mean, without a doubt, the kids are both gone. They're living in 2 different states. Sold the house, so we're living in a temporary place now. But I feel like I'm retired. I call anytime, like, "Buzz, I'm coming." We only have 1 car. This one's getting a bath. The other one's crying. I'm like, dude, I'm hanging out with the wrong guy. Like, I could go everywhere anytime. And he's like, "We'll be there at 9:30. Don't be late."
It's rough. I mean, I wish I did it when I was younger, after I had my first, but yeah, like Joe said, I'm happy with where things are. I'm not looking forward to the new one when I'm not sleeping. That's for sure.
Well, ask him too, because I always heard the same thing. 1 kid, 2 is twice. It's more than twice. There's some exponential, right?
Yeah. Well, I always said, like, you could play, you could tag team 1. Now you're playing man-on-man defense.
Oh, 100%.
We went from playing zone to man-on-man.
And guess what? You're going to have the first one on your own a lot now. Like, because you're going to have to take them out of the house.
Well, yeah, which is fine for me.
Your wife's going to have to heal with the baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's
But my boy is a mama's boy. Like, he wants mommy for everything. And I don't think he understands what's about to happen.
His whole dynamics.
He has no clue.
And I'll tell you what, we were only expecting to have 1 kid.
Yeah.
So, like, we got rid of all of our baby stuff last July, and we got pregnant in August. But, like, because he was turning 4, we're like, we're not having another one. We're set, And exactly what you said, you got 2 parents on 1 kid. It's not bad. And then we found out in August, after we got rid of everything, that we're having another baby.
Well,
we have a girl now, right?
Yeah, they had a girl.
Yeah, we had a little girl. We
That's
named
fine.
her Viola Antoinette. She'll be 3 months on the 2nd.
But here's the crazy part. Give yourself maybe 4 or 5 years, Fuzzy, maybe 10. Once they start, who's in scouts, who's in dance, who's playing basketball, who's playing soccer. Each kid needs 2 parents.
Yeah.
It's out of order.
And I think it's a different world now. And maybe Joe, is you can kind of speak to this as a football coach too. Like, football is kind of different. I remember, like, growing up, I mean, you had 2-a-days, and like football was like a big thing in high school. But like, I remember, like, baseball and, like, growing up in teeners and little league, even, you played a game a week. Maybe you had a practice or 2 every now and then. You shared helmets with the rest of the team. The coach had a bag full of helmets and a bag full of bats. You shared it. No one, like, maybe the 1 kid on the team had their own bat, but now these days, I feel like it's a whole different world with the way sports are. And
Well, you're going all year round. So
yeah,
a kid's playing on travel teams. He's got his own helmet, his own ball bag. And if
we
you're
all got
not
our own ball bag, right?
Yeah, if you're not keeping up with the Joneses,
That's getting a little weird for him.
you're done.
Yeah,
Well,
that's exact. We did it to ourselves.
I
Yeah,
literally
I mean,
was saying this.
there's literally 4 and 5-year-old instructional everything. So you can do 4 and 5-year-old football, 4 or 5 instructional lacrosse, 4 or 5-year-old baseball, 4 or 5-year-old soccer. So for us, we're really not going to even put him in any sport until he's like 7, because once you start, you don't want to break their confidence. So you have to like do what Doc said. Like if they're into it, you got to just give them every opportunity you can, whatever they're into.
The sad part about it is too, I was saying this to the patient the other day. The days of 3 sport stars are over. Like,
Right.
when we were in high school, the kid was a quarterback, he was a pitcher for baseball and a point guard. And he was all scholastic and all. It doesn't happen. Once you
Right.
get good at something, travel. You get your own trainer. You're
And
going all these camps.
And I would say it's hard to be a football and a basketball player, which was very common in our day,
Mhm.
in today's day, because right now, just like the football team's getting ready for fall sports, there's summer basketball. So you'd be stuck going to both. And, once you start school up, the basketball is already shooting around 2 times a week in the gym because they're starting up in 2 months. So
Yeah, the seasons
it-
overlap.
and in our day, you usually went from football to basketball or football to wrestling. It's very tough now with the modern training of a kid and individual coaching they get outside of the school district.
And what are your thoughts on that? I know we're here to talk about the Goombas, but the reason I like doing these too is, we're talking about life. We have kids, and Doc, you've gone through it all already. But like, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I liked the idea of playing multiple sports, and you said wrestling, right? Where that was an individual sport, but football is was 12 on the field or whatever it might be on it per team, like a lot of players working together. Basketball 5-on-5, baseball, same thing, kind of. But like, I think it was important to kind of have the diversity, whereas now it's like you really can't.
And that's kind of why I don't want him getting pigeonholed, or my daughter, into a sport at such a young age. I think, the identity, and it might sound crazy, but if you could give them the identity of they're a good person, they're happy, they're getting through their ABCs. Because one thing I see with winter lacrosse, we'll be at the Dome in November and we'll just play 2 games a night. And we'll get out of there at 9 o'clock. And guess what? There's still kids 10 years or under practicing soccer in that dome.
Right.
Those girls doing field hockey in that dome, and they're there at 9 o'clock at night. And for me, that's not something I want to do with my kid. I feel like, the pee-wees, even middle school, it's just about maximizing reps until they get in high school, and everything else really doesn't count. So I'm one of those parents that looks at it like it really doesn't even matter if they're winning or they're losing. They're just getting as many reps as they can and keep getting better. And then when they're a freshman in high school, if they want the hitting coach or they want to be on a travel team, that's when I would probably go gung ho, probably from their 8th grade going into their freshman year, if they want to go gung ho, that's when I would probably go all in.
And I do agree with Johnny, because a kid isn't going to know at 5 years old, I'm only going to play baseball. I only want to be a tennis player. You're right. Expose them to everything. Throw all the equipment on the ground, see what they grab. The problem is, I think every parent thinks their kid's going to be the next superstar, get a D1 scholarship and blah, blah, blah. You won't know, as Cuzzy said, until you're in high school, till you develop where you really do excel.
Yeah.
Some kids are just fast and they're better in soccer than other kids, but maybe they can't hit a ball. They can do whatever. Let the kids play and do what they want, and you'll know as they grow up if they have the potential to really do something.
Yeah. I've got my kid
And
in.
John, there's 11 guys on the football field. I don't want to.
You know what? He's the host. I
Yeah.
wasn't going to correct him.
Why? Well, it was more of a question. I said 12, right?
Well, you
Or
ask
just so
as
when
if you're,
someone watches it, they can't jump me and Doc, you know, me and you.
yeah,
We
but
got
you ask as if
reputation,
you're
me
from
and
some
Doc.
third world
Yeah.
country, like you never saw football. It's
Yeah.
like 12
Well,
on a team, right?
First of all, I never played football, so you better.
Neither did I. And yet I can tell you every rule in the book.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know I was talking to
Yeah.
a football.
A football
Well,
analyst over there.
Jesus
We're
Christ.
football guys and
Guys,
the
11.
12 bothered
All right,
us,
I
but we
get
let
it.
it slide.
At least I didn't say 16. Jesus.
Anyway,
I got the basketball part right. I got the baseball part
that
right.
was 5-on-5 and you redeemed
Yeah.
yourself.
Jesus.
He's from Lehman. They can't count out.
Yeah.
there.
What the? We're playing with the cows and shit. Jesus
The
Christ.
11 players and the cow. That was the 12.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I got my kid in he does t-ball, soccer, basketball, and I figure like now this the time where he can just kind of like run around and have fun, like whatever.
Yeah.
See what he
And
likes
that's
to do.
right. And you know, whatever his
Judge,
buddies
how
play.
old is he? How old is he?
He's 4.5.
So you got him in all the 4 to 5 instructional leagues, right?
Well, t-ball, yeah. So it's like I think it's 3 to 5 or 3 to 6. The DuPont League does it.
Are you coaching?
Yeah, I coached the last 2 years. The basketball thing was rough. That was a weird. That may have been like 3 to 7 or something like that, and that was
That's hard at that age.
yeah. I mean, my kid couldn't even like
No.
throw a basketball like high enough to even
Most
come
kids
near.
can't even dribble.
My niece won a championship, Dallas Youth basketball. You ready for 9 years old?
Okay.
This final score was 4-2. I'm not even joking.
Wow.
And she did score 2 points. So
There we go.
Graceland did have 2 of the 4 points.
Nice.
You could say she hit the game-winning shot.
There we go. I believe it.
But 4-2 was the final in the championship.
But she had half the points. I don't know.
All-star. But yeah, I just think that's why I said like I don't know where you guys find the time to do all this because you're very busy. But we'll get back into the gardening. That's what we're here to talk about. I'm pretty sure you guys have something coming up. Joe, you mentioned, or did you already talk about that already? Or
Is recording or just as we're hitting the road this year and getting as many gardens as we can?
I don't. Maybe I misunderstood when you called me and said, "Hey, like we got something coming up."
Well, you know what? That was it. So we did do the
okay.
garden in Misericordia.
I got you.
Right now, the next thing that we'll have coming up is we'll schedule our hot pepper challenge.
You're bringing it back.
We're bringing back the hot pepper. We couldn't do it last year because they kept closing and opening restaurants.
Sure, of course.
So like the week we wanted to do it was actually closed.
Right.
So then everybody agreed to shut it down. So we are going to bring it back. We don't know where because we want the place to do some marketing for us as well. So, some advertisement, something out of it, then just we're showing up and this is what we're doing and it's on Facebook. So
Right.
we're talking right now to a few places, but after that, we talked about doing a smoke meet off. And we got a guy that always comes on our show, GT Fab, and he built a smoker and he's battling with another guy, Adam Bravo. So we're thinking about doing a meat challenge. You have to bring all your own stuff, your own grill, everything. And then also accumulating that with the hot pepper challenge.
Got it.
So ideally, we'd like to do that the first week of football, but we're not there. We didn't finalize anything yet.
It basically comes down to we're trying to create events where we get to eat for free.
Of course. I mean, hey, you guys are putting in your time, and time is very valuable.
But let me tell you,
You need to be paid.
for all the people listening that are going to be coming up on the show this summer, everyone's been feeding us very well so far this year.
The last spread we had, I would say there was at least $50 of meat and cheese on that plate.
Oh, charcuterie board like you read about.
It was better than anything we're serving over here.
Yeah, I agree. So keep up in the game. We will show up.
Yeah. Now, if you have a wish list for the location for the hot pepper challenge, I mean, what are you looking for? What's the ideal place?
Some place like Hillbilly-ish, where we could get down and we got some land and it's big and they're gonna eat some hot peppers, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta have a crowd there. You're not just gonna have 4 people.
Of
So,
course.
you know, you want a venue where, and depending on if it's the fall, if, you know, if sports are going on yet, you might want some cheering section, couple hot pepper cheerleaders. We'll figure it out. We got plenty of time.
You do.
And we do have a champ. I mean, the Scoville unit could really eat hot stuff. So
He's already talking smack,
someone's
Does he?
gonna have to take him down.
without a doubt.
Well, I guess this is a good segue into the Take a Shot segment of the show, brought to you by the V-Spot Bar in Scranton. I have a few questions from listeners of the podcast and fans of the Garden Goombas mostly. And one of the question is from a Chris. I hate. I shouldn't have done this because I'm setting myself up for failure. But I want to
Just use
say
the first name. Don't say Fergali. Just call
that's
him
it.
Chris.
That's the one. That's the one.
What?
There we go. He said, will the Goombas ever find someone that can beat the Scoville unit?
It's funny he brings that up because he is the Scoville.
Yeah, he's talking in the third person, the whack job.
That's not fair. That's
He-
not fair. I don't know. I
It's
don't
not
know.
fair. It's trickery, and
I don't.
these guys
He's
that eat hot
disqualified. He
peppers
just
are crazy
he
people.
just disqualified himself. So anybody who steps in the ring now is going to beat the Scoville unit. He's out.
He's basically calling people out already before we even set up the competition.
He's tough to beat. He's tough to beat.
It was a little fishy, but
He's been hospitalized. He's been laying on a tile floor with his shirt off. He's been shoving ice cream down his mouth. It's not pretty,
yeah.
but the guy's very successful at what he does.
You know what? He's like a sweaty offensive lineman in the trenches that just smells. He stinks.
That gets the job done.
No one
But he
wants to
doesn't stop.
touch him on the defense. And you're like, we're gonna run for 1,000 yards behind this guy.
Yeah, this is the guy. This is the go-to. He's the man.
He's
And
the
he wants
12th
the
man.
trophies. He's about getting the hardware too. Like he wants those Super Bowl rings. That's what he's into.
Who wants to be second? That's never any good. It's too often we live in this everyone gets a trophy society. Like, no, we compete for number one.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
You come in second, you're the first loser.
That's right. Well, he's got some follow-up questions here. He said, will Cuzzy ever grow his beard and hair out again? I did notice that. I had to say, I saw it on Facebook, I think last week, a little caught off guard.
Yeah.
What's this? Is there a reason behind this? Is it too hot for you? Like, what's going on?
You know what? I would say it's a Mrs. Cuz and my mother, who we call Big Nani.
Always them. It's always them.
He's a daughter
and
now.
truth be told, I'm marrying 2 friends. I always wanted to marry people. It was like a dream. And I actually had 2 whack jobs finally ask me to marry them to show you how crazy they are.
Oh, so you weren't kidding. You're legit.
No, I'm a minister. I'm an
minister.
ordained
Okay.
minister.
Okay.
Yeah.
When do you sleep?
Very rarely. Very rarely. I grew up in the service industry like you. We don't sleep. We just don't sleep.
Buddy, I remember you slinging drinks to me at the Woodlands. Those were the days.
And we were both working. Technically, you were working at the time too.
I was. You were working. I was drinking / working.
So I think in Northeast Pennsylvania, we're able to go to bed a little later, wake up a little earlier, and we relish in it.
And we definitely get more done than what.
I go to bed way too late. But I will say, and I'm going to say this now because I'm proud of myself, and maybe by saying this out loud, I'll hold myself more accountable. For about 8 weeks now, 8 weeks ago, I said I'm going to go into my basement, grab my kettlebells, and I'm going to put them by my bed. I'm going to start doing one thing every morning. No matter, I'm getting older, getting fatter. I need to start doing something. They say just do something. If not, just something. So for 8 weeks, I wake up every day and I look over. First thing I saw were those kettlebells sitting on the floor, and I'm like, maybe tomorrow. So for 8 weeks, I kept saying maybe tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. And yesterday, I got up. I actually got ready for work. I was running late, but I grabbed one of them and I started doing some kettlebell swings. I did a few, nothing crazy, but I was like, if I didn't have to leave right now, if I was not already late for work, I would stay here and do more. I felt that great, that just energized. I went to work feeling good, and I was like, I can't wait for tomorrow to come. I'm going to do some wake up earlier and do some more. And sure as shit, this morning I did just that. So I'm on a little streak here, and I'm excited for it.
It just
And
took
that's
you a while to warm
small
up.
victories, small victories.
Yeah.
I start every morning off with one sit up. I get out of bed and then I shower and then I go to work.
Well, Doc, once he hurts himself in about a week with those 5-pound kettlebells,
I was
you
just
can
gonna
go
say,
see Doc. He'll straighten your
My
back out.
back does hurt though.
here's what's funny.
Doc will get you straightened right out.
All my 40-year-olds that are doing this CrossFit now, I tell them that there are two people that benefit from CrossFit. The instructor who's taking your money and the chiropractor who's gonna see you on Friday. Because you're not the 21-year-old elite athletes that need to be bouncing on a ball with a TheraBand here and swinging a kettlebell over your head. Crazy.
I'm not getting crazy. I'm just, like I said, light stuff. Just just getting the body moving, the heart pumping. I don't even know why that got brought up. How did that even happen?
Because you see the kettlebells every morning.
Well, yeah, but I kind of segued into that somehow. Maybe I did. Maybe I just wanted to brag, humble brag.
I was impressed.
Yeah, whatever. But no, we were talking. We were working in the service industry, yada yada yada.
Minister.
Yeah.
East Coast guys work a lot. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's truly why I cut the hair.
Yeah.
I got a wedding coming up in August, and my wife and my mother wanted me to cut it.
That's August. What are you doing?
Well, you don't want to go.
I'm the hippie in the group.
Yeah, there you go.
You don't want to go first haircut right before the wedding. You want to give it.
I understand.
So you
they won't know who you are when you walk in.
Yeah.
Well, I went. How long did I go? I March when the pandemic hit. I didn't cut the top part of my hair for almost 2 years. The top was growing. The sides I had still trimmed up a bit, but I got to the point where I'm going to be 40 years old. What's the end game here? What am I doing with my life? Plus, I was supposed to go to Vegas for work. So I was like, I don't want to mess with the hair for a trip to Vegas. So I cut it for that. We didn't end up going. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Well, hair is overrated.
Yeah, you would know.
Trust
you would
me.
know. You would know. I trust you on that. The Scoville unit also, one final question. He said, will Cuzzy ever not be super excited?
Super excited. We stumbled on that years ago, and I can't help but think before we were saying it, you never really heard it.
Now everybody freaking says it.
So
it's on TV, it's in commercials. I swear to God.
We're super excited. And if we were the guys or the idiots that got that to go, through the country or part of the reason, great. Because we said it by accident in a garden. I don't use real correct grammar. And it just sounded catchy. And next thing you know, you're hearing it everywhere. So we're just doing our part with pop culture. We're super excited.
To answer the question, every time I see him, he is super excited.
So he'll never not be super excited.
I'm not going to say never,
Eh,
but pretty much.
super excited. Okay. Well, I think if I was a betting man, I would bet that the next question came from the Scoville unit's wife, Beth. She asks, what's your favorite plant or vegetable to grow?
The answer. I mean, we're tomato guys. We're eggplant guys. Dukes, Zooks. We love them all. Basil. I got real happy with the little Kirby cutes because I was making pickles.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's a good move.
I had about 10 plants, and before you know it, there were 50 cucumbers on it. So real quick, a simple little brine, do those up, and they're unbelievable. So they're probably, although the little grape tomatoes are sugar.
Now, do you ever mess with like peppers and stuff with the pickles?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Throw habaneros and stuff in there to make them hot, spicy.
Yeah, sweet.
In fact, we'll make some and drop them off as a gift once you have the baby.
Oh, perfect. Not in a year or two. Like that's like going to be like soon.
Oh, that'll be this year.
Oh,
but don't
okay,
think when we come up there we're doing anything with your yard.
I won't even let you in the backyard. I won't even show you where it is. I'll even tell you, I'll talk through the doorbell. I'll say, leave it on the step. Be
Yeah,
on your way.
even
I don't
better.
want you. I don't want you to get any ideas. So
No, the hot pickles are.
that's my favorite. There's is it Grillo's? Is that a brand? I think it's Grillo's pickles.
We
I
make
find them.
ours. We don't buy stuff.
I find them at Wegmans. They're hot. And they're good.
Fuzzy. Don't be falling asleep on us.
It's past my bedtime.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll wrap things up for you. In addition, she asked, what plants yield more crops?
Good question.
What we found by doing the community ones, when we're doing them in the beds, cucumbers did really well, peppers did really well, the beans did really well. I mean, you know, a tomato will only grow so many tomatoes on it. Eggplant, you're going to get them to drop in. But when we were looking for quantity of things, it seemed like the peppers and the cukes did really well, right, guys?
I would say, yeah, the cucumbers were number one. Now, this year, you know, hopefully you never know what you're going to get in a garden from each year, but it was shocking to see the amount of cucumbers we got last year. I would love to get zucchini and squash because those plants, if they start going, they'll go like wildfire. As
you can make a
well.
lot of stuff out of it.
Yeah.
Those cukes, because we didn't vine them up, they were just vining out on the ground. Every time you moved the leaf, there was another one.
Yeah, it was grown in a very unconventional way where it shouldn't have worked, and it worked better than expected.
Yeah.
You know what? I failed to mention this earlier. I actually planted some garlic last fall.
As well, you should have.
And that was like really super easy. Like I didn't realize how like basically self-sustaining that stuff is. It's just, it's just the clove itself. You put it right in the ground and cover it up. And
Yep.
Now, where are you as far as the scraps and stuff? Because you should be almost picking your garlic in another 2 weeks.
Right. And that's exactly where I am. I just picked those off probably a little too late, but a week or two ago, I took those off. And that was neat. That was the first time I ever like messed around with those, and it was kind of like you could stir fry them or kind of like a asparagus, and it just even
oil.
Yeah, that was neat. So I'm excited for those. Super excited.
There you go.
For
much
the garlic. Yeah.
Yeah. So right around July 1st, you'll be pulling those up.
Very cool. All right, good.
You'll be set for the fall and the winter.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Doc, I think this is a good question for you. Shane McCabe, he asked, what's a good posture or sitting position for gardening? Our backs need help.
And of all people, he probably needs it as well. Well, we know there's 4 natural curves to the spine, so it's always important not to be bending over. That's the big problem. A lot of people, when they're weeding and stuff like that, they'll stand and just bend straight down and start pulling it. You're going to be much better off with a little stool sitting or even a pad where you're kneeling without putting all that strain on your back. Because even think about it, if you work in the service industry and stand at a counter all day, the heaviest thing you're holding is a knife. You figure it's no big deal. But if you're bending at your waist to that counter height for 8 hours,
you
can't straighten up, you know? So that's what was happening the last couple of weeks because people got in their gardens. They started doing yard work. And again, you haven't used those muscles in a while. So thank you, Shane. But I said, sitting up with a nice arch in your back or kneel down, much better to weed and do gardening than standing and bending over.
Very good. DJ Hirsch wants to know if you can make him some sauce. I don't know if you know DJ Hirsch or not. He's
Absolutely.
a clown. He's a clown.
That's got to be Cuzzy.
Don't worry about him.
Here's another thing.
He's a good guy, client, good friend.
We can make our own sauce and have a little sauce on. Let him decide.
He's got a street garden down there in Wilkes-Barre, Hirsch. It starts off good, but it never ends good for him, because he's a DJ, so he gets lazy with it.
Yeah, DJ Hirsch. Justin Brown asked, what songs should people play to their plants?
That's a great question. We found a study, and this is true, you can look it up, that if you play Frank Sinatra, your tomatoes are going to be 3 times the size they normally would compared to playing other music.
Yeah. You don't want heavy metal. You don't want rock. Opera is very good. And Frankie.
All right. All right. One more question for you, and I'll let you guys go. Diane I don't even know her last name, Diane M. And I think she may have been referring to the picture that I used to promote you guys. She said, so you used these box gardens. How deep should the dirt be in them, or does it depend on what is planted?
It's safe to say probably 11 to 12 inches, like 1 foot is really all you're gonna need. Some plants obviously will have a deeper root bed than others, but with that 11, 12 inches, they're gonna have a chance if they're not going deep down. Like you're not gonna put potatoes and carrots and stuff like that in there, but if you're gonna get other stuff, 12 inches is plenty for everything to sprout.
Very good.
And
Because
some stuff is only gonna be down an inch or two. Your
Yeah.
garlic, which is 6 inches, is probably the deepest stuff you're gonna be planting.
Cool.
yeah, and I'm telling you, we still do a lot of things in buckets. We're
Yeah,
doing
I'm all
pots
about
and
it.
buckets, without even digging up the yard. And my stuff is gonna blow up soon. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I did. I got something off Amazon. I got like a bed. 'Cause like I said, my garden bed is way overgrown and
Yeah, we've heard.
just just afraid to touch that. So I did a little side bed. So well, that's all I got.
We'll come visit, don't worry.
I'll see you in 2 years. It's fine. It's
Well,
fine.
you know what? The next time we talk to you, you should have baby number 2. So congratulations ahead of time.
We'll show up with the hot pickles and no rakes or shovels.
Exactly. Like I said, I'm not even going to speak to you face to face. I'm going to talk to you through the doorbell, and I don't want you to get any ideas.
Yeah,
No
I'm
funny
cool with that.
business, but yeah. But I mean, guys, you started this thing. It was kind of like a DIY thing, and it was kind of just fun and for shits and giggles, and I think, anyways. But I don't think you imagined it would get to where it is today, where you're helping feed communities and you're help, bring awareness and educating people on gardens and growing your own food, which I think in this day and age is so important because we don't know what people are putting on our food as far as pesticides and all that kind of shit. It's good to know like what is on your food and how it's grown. So thank you guys for doing what you do. It's a lot of fun to watch. I wish you guys all the success and fun that you're having continued. So where can people find you on social media?
Take it, cuz.
They can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, hashtag Garden Goombas. Every site is Garden Goombas, GARDNGOOMBAS.
Did you spell that right?
Did I spell that right?
I think
Are
it's
you
right.
sure?
You're good.
And that's where we're at. We do have the website. We just haven't set it up because we're lazy. And we really don't know what our mission is yet. We're still trying to discover that. But that's
This year we're growing.
yeah. That's the best part of the journey, right? Is keep reinventing yourself and finding a bigger purpose as you're on the journey. So, where we were a few years ago to where we are now, I think the community garden will always be part of us every year. But like Doc said, we don't want to get away from what we are. And at the end of the day, we want to get in gardens, interview people, and have a lot of fun just meeting new people that enjoy and are passionate about gardening like us.
Very cool. If you need some cool t-shirts made, hit me up.
I got a guy who's looking for shirts.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
good deal.
And Joe, I know we talked. I was in the middle of unfortunately putting my cat down, but I do think now is the time to talk to you about what we discussed about financial future and things like that. So if anyone out there is listening and needs financial advice, not only can Joe grow a great garden, he can help you grow your financial wealth. I assume that's accurate in saying, correct?
I appreciate that, Dick. Thank you so much.
And Doc here, if you're ever in need of your back straightened,
Not only will your plants go straight, we'll keep your
keep it straight.
And Doc, if Johnny keeps swinging that kettlebell about 2 weeks from now, he's going to need you.
I'll be seeing him sooner than later.
No, I don't get crazy. I don't believe in the CrossFit culture. I'm not into that. And again, I know where I stand. I'm a 39-year-old out of shape man with a dad bod. I know a limitation. That's why yesterday when I first picked it up, I'm like, we're just gonna test it out. Let's see how this
Yeah.
feels initially.
For the
So,
first couple of weeks, I'm just gonna walk by them,
yeah.
see how it is.
Well, we
Get a
had to,
relationship.
we had that exactly. I was just gonna say we had to build that relationship. I woke up every morning next to those, and I was like, I just wanted to make sure that they knew that I wasn't gonna come at them aggressively. We were in this together. It's
Get
a
that trust factor.
exactly, and that's just how I operate. I like to work on trust. So
I like it.
yesterday was the day where we came together as one. So guys, thank you again so much. I really appreciate your time. Again, I love what you're doing. We're lucky to have the Garden Goombas. In a year or two, just look for the light in the sky. I'll be calling you.
Absolutely. We'll be here to answer.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Yes,
Have a
sir.
great night.
All right. See you.
Take care.
See you.